Hi students, continuing the revision part. So the processes left were the transportation in human and also in plants, and the excretory system. So transportation in human is mainly concerned with the circulatory system, the circulation of the blood, which is what is the blood doing? The blood is carrying oxygen, most importantly, to all parts of the body in the form of oxyhemoglobin compound, and is releasing oxygen there, which is very unstable. So oxygen is released to all cells and tissues. And the another function is it is also carrying back, the blood is carrying back CO2 from all the cells and tissues, and it is exhaled in our breathing. So CO2 is exhaled out. So this is the another function. And then blood, what else blood does? Blood is transporting all the absorbed nutrients, the carbohydrates, fats, proteins, and the minerals and vitamins to all parts of the body. Blood is also carrying the enzymes and hormones wherever they are required. Blood is also carrying the waste materials to the kidneys for excretion in the form of urine. The filtration and excretion. Blood is having your platelets, which is helping in blood clotting. Blood is also having WBCs, which are the soldiers in the body to enhance the defense mechanism to fight against the invading pathogens. So these are the functions of blood. Blood also regulates the body temperature. So you have to remember this. And now, how this the blood is how blood is circulating. So you have to remember the heart, the function of the heart, the circulation through the heart. So heart is, if you remember, size of the fist, and it is a muscular organ. The left side and right sides have been separated by a septum, and there are four chambers in the human heart, two auricles in the upper side, two ventricles in the lower side, and in between the auricles and ventricles, which valves are there? There are valves. In the right side, it is tricuspid valve with three flaps. In the left side, it is bicuspid valve with two valves, which is also called two flaps, which is also called the mitral valve. So these why this heart is chambered, human heart? Because the oxygen-rich blood should not mix with the carbon dioxide-rich blood, because the oxygen can be supplied to all cells and tissues sufficiently and efficiently if there is no mixing up in the heart with the oxygenated blood and the deoxygenated blood. So that is why chambers are there, to keep them separate. And what is happening during circulation? Blood is passing twice through the heart before it completes a full cycle. This is called the double circulation. So naturally there are two parts. One is the pulmonary circulation, the another is the systemic circulation. Pulmonary pertaining to lungs, systemic pertaining to body. If you revise the system, what is happening? The deoxygenated blood or the carbon dioxide rich blood is coming back from all parts of the body to the right auricle through veins. Now this right auricle is relaxing, it is filled with blood, and now it will contract, the valves will contract, and this tricuspid valve will open, and the blood will be pushed to the right ventricle. From this right ventricle, what will happen? The blood will be carried to the lungs. By which vessel? By the pulmonary artery, which is the only artery which is carrying deoxygenated blood, carbon dioxide rich blood. Why this has carried this vessel has carried the blood to the lungs for gases exchange, for making the blood oxygenated. So the gases exchange will take place where? In the alveoli of the lungs. So the oxygen from the alveoli will diffuse in the blood in the capillaries, and the CO2 in the blood will diffuse into the alveoli, which will be exhaled out. So this gases exchange has made the blood which has come, the deoxygenated blood which has come to the lungs, oxygenated. Now this oxygenated blood will be carried by the pulmonary vein, the only vein which is carrying your oxygenated blood. Otherwise veins carry deoxygenated blood. So this pulmonary vein is carried the oxygenated blood where? To the left auricle. So the left auricle, the blood will be pushed to the left ventricle. When the left auricle valves will contract, it will be pushed to the left ventricle. When the bicuspid valve will open, so this is what is happening in the pulmonary circulation. Now the oxygenated blood has reached the left ventricle. Now where it will go? It will go to the entire body parts through aorta. So vessels will carry this blood. So what are the vessels? The arteries are carrying blood from the heart to all parts of the body. It is generally containing the oxygenated blood. Only the pulmonary artery is carrying deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the lungs. Now these arteries will divide into your this aorta will become the arteries, will divide into arteries, and then arteries will further divide into arterioles, and then arterioles will become the capillaries, the finest and the smallest vessel, which actually is responsible for all the exchanges that are taking place in the blood with the cells of the body. So this is the vessel, that is arteries, which is carrying the oxygen-rich blood to all parts of the body through capillaries. And now after the capillaries have allowed the diffusion of oxygen into the cells and also allowed the diffusion of carbon dioxide from the cells to the blood. So now the blood has become what? Has become deoxygenated because it has released the oxygen. So deoxygenated means the carbon dioxide rich blood. Carbon dioxide has come in the blood. So this deoxygenated blood is coming back to the right auricle. So this is the complete cycle, and this is how the circulation is taking place. And there are different the arteries and veins and capillaries in all the body parts in the different section of the body. So this is how you have to remember the circulation is taking place by the double circulation of blood in human heart. So this is our blood, and there is another fluid called lymph. So about blood, if you want to revise, you can revise that. What is blood? Blood is a fluid connective tissue. Number of cells are there. There are two parts of the blood. One is plasma, another is blood cells. Plasma, what is plasma? 91 to 92% water, 7 to 8% proteins, and 1 to 2% inorganic salts. So the shape of the blood is being achieved or is possible because of plasma, because it is mainly containing water and some important proteins with inorganic salts also. So this is the plasma part. The cells part, there are RBCs, red blood corpuscles, which are erythrocytes, WBC, which are leukocytes, and the platelets. So about the three cells also you should remember, you should revise. RBC, main function, carrying oxygen through hemoglobin, which is the respiratory pigment. Shape, RBC shape is biconcave disc. It is the smallest cell in the body. It is formed in bone marrow and is destroyed in liver or spleen. The lifespan of RBC is how much? It is 4 months or 120 days. WBC is the soldier, is the main cell which is creating the immunity, creating the defense system of the body. There are two types, granular, agranular. Granular means having granules inside, and the agranular means there are no granules. So granules are the WBCs, which are neutrophils, which are basophil and eosinophil, and the agranular or non-granular WBCs are the lymphocytes and monocytes. So the most important WBCs are the neutrophils and the lymphocytes. The main function of WBC is phagocytosis, engulfing the pathogen which has invaded or any foreign body. And the other function is to form antibodies which will remain there in the blood and will also fight against any invading pathogens in the future. So antibodies for specific pathogen or infection. So these are the functions of WBC. So phagocytosis is because of the amoeboid structure that it is having. It is extending the cytopodia and it is surrounding the pathogen, and it is engulfing it inside. So this engulfing is called phagocytosis. How these WBCs are there? Come out? They come out by oozing out from the capillaries. So there is a process by which the capillaries burst and the WBCs come out. So this is the function of the WBC, and then we come to platelets. What are the platelets? They are also very small, and the function of small cells in the blood, their function is to help in blood clotting. So platelets, when there is a wound, when blood is coming out, platelets will accumulate there and will release thromboplastin, which will convert the prothrombin into thrombin. And thrombin what the thrombin will do, it will convert the fibrinogen into fibrin. The fibrin is the actual solid mass which forms the clot, and the blood stops. So this is the function helped by the blood platelets. So these are the functions of the blood cells. So now the circulation in the circulatory system, in the transportation in human, you should remember these important points. And then transportation in plants, students. What is to be transported in plants? Water, minerals, and the prepared food. Water and minerals are being carried by the xylem, the vascular tissue which is xylem. They are entering the root hairs from the soil by the process of osmosis, diffusion, or active transport, and then they are carried by the vascular tissue xylem, which is made of a number of tissues, like your tracheids, xylem vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fiber. So this xylem is carrying the sap or the water and mineral from the root system to the shoot system. And how this is taking place? Because of the transpiration pull. Because continuously transpiration is taking place, so there is a suction force generated which is pulling the water from the root system to the shoot system. And for the other vascular tissue, which is the phloem, it is translocating or distributing the food, prepared food, from the leaves to all parts of the body, part of the plant. Maybe upwards or downwards movements can take place by phloem, but xylem moves only in one direction from the root to the shoot system, that is upwards. And phloem is having number of tissues. Those are the sieve tubes, the companion cells, phloem parenchyma, phloem fiber. In xylem, except your xylem parenchyma, all are dead cells. But in phloem, except your phloem fibers, all are living cells. So this you have to remember, students. Maybe there are some very MCQ or some very short questions which you will be able to answer. So this is the transportation which is taking place in plants. How transportation is taking place? By xylem and also by phloem. So phloem is actually doing the translocation of prepared food from leaves to all parts of the plants, and xylem is transporting water minerals from root to the shoot. So this I think you will remember. And coming to the excretion, all the wastes have to be excreted because of the metabolic processes. Wastes are there, mainly nitrogenous waste. So as far as gases are concerned, they are also excreted from our system. Which gas is exhaled out? That is carbon dioxide. So that is the excretion of the unwanted gas which is taking place. Some excretion is also done by the skin sweat pores in the form of sweat. Some excretion, some breakdown of waste are taking place in the liver also. So main waste, that is the nitrogenous waste, urea, uric acid, is excreted through the kidney in the form of urine. So blood is entering the kidneys. Now the wastes are filtered in the kidneys, in the tubules, which are known as nephrons, and nephrons are the units of the kidneys. And there are billions of nephrons in the kidneys, and what is happening? The filtration is taking place in the Bowman capsule of the nephron, and the urea and uric acid is filtered out in the filtrate, and large amount of water is also coming out in the ultrafiltration when the blood is entering the kidney. Because there is a difference in pressure in the bunch of capillaries which is called glomerulus, the blood is entering with a high pressure and is going out with a coming inside with the high pressure, because the difference in diameter is there between the afferent and efferent arterioles. So what is happening? A huge pressure is created and the filtration is taking place. So this filtration is producing filtrate, which is carrying urea and uric acid and some other unwanted substances, but it is also carrying some useful substances along with water. Some proteins, fats, some inorganic salts, calcium, potassium, and also water, which is very essential. So this water is reabsorbed in the blood along with the essential substances, and the final filtrate comes out as urine, and they are carried by the two ureters to the urinary bladder, and the urinary bladder is filtered, filled. The urinary bladder fills, and there is a sensation of urination, and the urine is excreted out during urination by the urethra, through the urethra. So this is how the urine is excreted out. So this is happening in the tubules of the kidney, which are the nephrons, and finally the blood is filtered, and the filtrate is the urine. The final filtrate is the urine, which is having urea, uric acid, some other ways, some medicines or some chemicals which can be there. And now the excretion in plants, Students, you have to remember the important points, that they don't have any excretory system or excretory organs, but when the leaves fall, they also carry waste, because there are waste in the plant also because of the plant metabolic processes, and there are certain products, certain liquids which are found in plants, like the latex plant, the resin, and these things are the waste of the plant. How they are excreting waste in forms of these compounds. So the excretion in plants, you have to remember the important parts, the important points. Uh, in the plants, the oxygen which is released in the photosynthesis is excreted out through the stomata, and carbon dioxide which we are releasing is taken in, because it is necessary for photosynthesis. But in the process of photosynthesis, oxygen is released, which is uh, extra, or which is waste for the plants. So releasing oxygen is also a part of the excretory system in plants. The oxygen released by the plants are the life support for all other living organisms, but for them, excess oxygen is a waste. So that is also a kind of excretion that takes place in plants. And other things that we discussed, we can revise. Waste products are in many plants are stored in cellular vacuoles also. There are big vacuoles in the cells. In the leaves also, as I said, they are stored, and when the leaves fall, the wastes are also excreted. So they also excrete some waste substances into the soil around them. So like this, they are excreting their waste. So how the plants do this excretion is also important. Some questions can be there relating to this. So students, I think I've revised the important points of these life processes, and also tried to answer the questions there, the related questions. So I end this topic here and look forward to another important revisions of your chapters. Thank you so much.